Pygmoelian is the brilliantly titled 16th episode of the 11th season of The Simpsons. It's directed by Kirkland. The average rating on IMDb is 7.3 out of 10, which for this point in The Simpsons is pretty good. And I think I agree with it. I really like the narrative here. Mo is feeling very, very sorry for himself because he doesn't feel like he's that much of a looker. He doesn't get women's attention, or not in positive ways. And one thing leads to another, and he ends up undergoing plastic surgery. And we have Mo with a completely different face. And that's such a bizarre thing to watch, to see this character looking completely different, but sounding the same, and we know it's the same character, but he's animated in a different way. And it's effectively done. It could have been jarring, it could have been a bit clunky, but I think it worked quite well. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but Mo goes on to having quite a successful and famous life because of his new looks. It affords him opportunities that he didn't have before. He starts to have a bigger personality. And I won't say anything else beyond that. But I will say that what happens whenever Mo looks with his plastic surgery, I think is very well written, very well scripted. Some really great one-liners in there as well. And I think it works very well. And then things take an interesting turn. I think it's an interesting dialogue about how people treat people differently because of the way they look. Things definitely seem to change for Mo when he looks better, and I put that in air quotes. I mean, I do think the character looks better, but obviously that's subjective. And the life that he leads after that is very interesting. And what happens regarding I'll just say the whole, the job, and kind of how that developed. I wasn't expecting it. It was a direction I perhaps wasn't predicting. And that meant it was quite unpredictable, and it kept me on my toes, and I found it engaging and entertaining, and I really wanted to know what was going to happen with his character, because I've seen episodes after this, and I know certain things about that happened with Mo afterwards, so I wasn't quite sure how they'd conclude various things. But I think it's well written. It's an interesting conversation to have about the power of appearance. It's quite funny, but mostly it's interesting. It's very fascinating. I think they could have done a lot of different things with this, but I think the direction they took definitely worked very well. So for me, Pygmalion is really entertaining. As I said, I love the title, a parody of Pygmalion, of course. Definitely an episode that, although it doesn't seem to be the most popular, I think it's got a generally good reception, and that's something that I agree with.